The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everybody, it is 8 o'clock, so we are going to start our Become a LinkedIn Power User with Michael Reynolds. My name is Alyssa Haynes. I am the Mass Chapter's Online Marketing Manager. First, I want to start off by thanking heartily the Mass Chapter leadership for being so proactive and forward thinking to offer this webinar to our members and to others. I know we've got some non-members, non-AMTA members listening in, and I know that we have some AMTA members from other states here, and I am really, really excited that everybody is here and that Mass Chapter is bringing together all of us for really, really useful information. And we are excited to give you info and give you tools to help you move forward, because when we all have the tools to do better marketing, it benefits all of us. Tonight, we have a very special guy, my friend Michael Reynolds, and he is here to teach us how to rock out LinkedIn. Hi, Michael.
Hey, Alyssa, and hello, everybody. Good evening.
Michael, I'm going to do my little spiel. Michael is the president and the CEO of SpinWeb, a web solutions and digital marketing company based out of Indianapolis, Indiana. And this is the good stuff, Michael is one of us. He is also a massage therapist, so he understands us like very few web geeks do. He is a top-notch dude. He is my best friend, and I am going to let Michael take it from here so you guys can actually learn something. Michael, bring it.
Awesome. Thanks, Alyssa, and thanks for joining, everybody. I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm thrilled to talk about LinkedIn, actually, because it is sort of one of those often neglected networks, which I think is sort of an unfortunate thing, because it's got a lot of value, and you can actually have a lot of fun with it and get a lot of value from it if you know how to use it properly. So I think we're going to have a good time. So I appreciate you joining. Quick note on questions. I love questions. I absolutely adore questions. So do not hold your questions to the end. If you want to bring them up throughout the presentation, please do. Alyssa will be monitoring those. There's two ways to ask questions. The first way is just to pop it in that question box in your GoToWebinar control panel. Just type your question in there. Alyssa will bring those up, and she'll ask me, and I'll answer the question as best I can. The second way is to actually click the Raise Your Hand button. And what that will do is that'll signal Alyssa to connect you to the audio feed, which means you can then verbalize your question in real time, and we can speak as if we're on the phone, and that'd be great. So if you're shy, use the chat window. If you're not shy and you'd like to have a real-time conversation and ask your question vocally, then we can do that as well. Just raise your hand, and Alyssa will connect you. So keep that in mind. I love questions.
We actually have a couple already that I just want to hit before we get going.
Oh,
Somebody
nice.
asked if this webinar is accredited for CE hours. It is not. We did not go through that process for our first inaugural webinar. So the answer on that is no, but you will walk out of this much smarter than you were when you walked in, and get lots of new clients and make tons of money so that you can buy some more CEs. And then somebody asked if she was supposed to be hearing something. I think this was from a couple minutes ago before we started up. So Cindy, I hope that you're hearing us now. And if you're not hearing this, so I haven't helped you at all anyway. But those are the two questions. Michael, take it away.
Awesome. I mean it. I love questions, so keep them coming. Just a little brief intro about me, just so kind of you know who I am and where to find me. You can find me via my company website at spinweb.net, and my Twitter ID is @MichaelReynolds if you're on Twitter. I don't put the LinkedIn URL because it's long and difficult to type in. So I'm very easy to find on LinkedIn. So do a search there. And I'm also linked from my company website to my LinkedIn profile, so I'm pretty easy to find. So SpinWeb has been around 16 years. We're a digital agency. We do websites and digital marketing. So we've had quite a bit of experience in that area. A little bit about me as well. I blog. I speak at events around the country, including some in New York, Chicago, and here in Indianapolis as well. Blog Indiana is a favorite of mine. I speak there pretty much every year. Also, as Alyssa mentioned, I am a massage therapist. I'm not currently practicing right now, but I practiced for about 4 years. A few years ago, I've worked in both the clinic setting and the spa setting, and so I've got some experience in marketing and massage practice individually and with a spa as well. I also volunteer for various massage-related organizations and have for many, many years. So just so you know, I do have kind of that dual expertise in both digital marketing and in the massage therapy community. So hopefully that is appealing to those who are kind of looking to see how to use these tools for massage practice. I also play tennis, and I love sushi, so if you're ever in the same place as me and or Alyssa, take us out for sushi, and we will do anything you want. We will answer all questions. We will spend the whole night with you. We love sushi. So for a sushi lover out there, you're my peeps. So let's jump in. What's LinkedIn? According to their website, it's a place to reconnect with people, boost your career, get some help with questions and answers, kind of a generic description, but these sort of do kind of outline the general use cases for LinkedIn. But let's kind of jump in specifically to some things that I like to focus on when using LinkedIn. First of all, some facts about LinkedIn. It's primarily a business network. It's basically all business. It's not, it's not kind of socially blended like Facebook or other networks. It's straight up business. We'll talk about that more here in just a minute. It's great for referral marketing. So if any of you on the call are in like a BNI chapter or chambers or other networking groups, you know about referral marketing and how it works. LinkedIn is a great way to augment and supplement your real-world referral marketing. It's also a virtual contact manager, so if you're using like a database or a CRM or any kind of tool to manage your client list or your database of contacts, LinkedIn is a nice supplement to that as well, and it can, for some people, be their exclusive database if they want to use it that way. It's got some really nice tools to keep track of people and use it as your virtual contact manager, which is self-updating, which is nice. Great for PR. Publishing news and events about your company. Also a great way to store testimonials and recommendations. So if you're looking for testimonials about you as a massage therapist in your work, LinkedIn is one great way to collect those. We'll talk about how it applies to the resume here as well, but it's a great kind of networked resume, good for prospecting and good for building authority. And this concept of building authority, I want to kind of expand on for just a moment. Authority is this sense of conveying credibility to your audience. So if you have authority and you have credibility, people look to you as an expert, and they look to you for that expertise. So LinkedIn is a great way to kind of supplement other ways that you're building credibility, whether it's through word of mouth, through presentations, through testimonials and recommendations from others. LinkedIn is a great way to kind of pull a lot of that together and demonstrate your expertise as a massage therapist as well. So,
you know what, Michael? Michael, yeah. I'm going to interrupt you because we had somebody raise their hand, and she may have already put her hand down. I can't tell, but Michael and I are using the raise your hand feature for the first time, so we are going to try it. So
awesome, let's try it.
Awesome. I am going to hit the little button here, and Regine Ryder should be able to speak now, I think. Let's unmute her. And Regine, did you have a question?
Actually, I don't. I just kind of clicked on it and didn't know that it
Yay!
would mean that.
We got to practice, so
But
now we know how it works. So I am going to unconnect Regine.
Thank you.
I was really
awesome.
stressed out.
I really appreciate that test because now it works, so we know that. So now
I was really stressed about doing that.
Yeah, if you want to be cool like Regine, just pop your hand up there and we'll connect you as well. So I really appreciate that.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
All right. Go right ahead, Michael. Thank you.
Sure thing. So let's talk about the whole job seeking process. I'm not sure if anyone on the webinar has ever looked for a job like in a spa or a clinic or a hospital, or maybe you do hiring. Maybe you work at a spa as a hiring manager, or you own the spa, or you own a practice and you'd like to interview people. So no matter which side of the equation you're on, you've probably dealt with a resume. My opinion is resumes are pretty much useless. And a lot of companies nowadays are moving away from them in favor of things like LinkedIn, other social profiles, other methods. So I'm not saying the LinkedIn, or I'm sorry, the resume is completely gone from the massage world, because it's definitely not. But we're moving in a direction as a society of kind of looking more toward digital tools, leaving paper behind, leaving static documents behind. So I'd recommend, if you're job seeking or you're hiring, bring in LinkedIn as part of the process. If you're a job seeker, make sure your profile is tuned for being a great-looking candidate and using it as a prospecting tool for looking for a job. If you're hiring, take a look at people's LinkedIn profiles as well. You'll learn a lot more about them than you would just looking at a piece of paper. So let's talk about who's on the network. As of now, 147 million members approximately. Standard age, the largest age group on LinkedIn is 35 to 54. Average income is 6 figures, so it's typically high income individuals. About 50-50 male, female, slightly skewed toward a little bit more male, but about half and half. College grads make up about 75% of people, so highly educated, typically high income people. Senior level execs, like decision makers, make up about 39% of LinkedIn. And the source here is LinkedIn and a combination of ZoomSphere as well as of this January. So these are very current stats. So as you can see, the gist I'm kind of trying to convey here is that LinkedIn is typically made up, a large percentage anyway, of highly educated, high-income people who are decision makers. So if you target, for example, business executives, business travelers, a lot of these people you're going to find on LinkedIn. You know, athletes, lots of different people that are very active, educated. So these demographics are kind of fun to look at and give you a sense of what the makeup is of this network. And the nice thing also is that you're going to find people on LinkedIn you're not going to find on other networks. The big four social networks right now, I'm not counting YouTube, but the big four right now are LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. Google+ is kind of getting ignored right now, but Twitter and Facebook are pretty popular. Facebook usually is the most popular among massage therapists. You're going to find people on LinkedIn you won't find other places because these are people who maybe don't have the time or the patience or the interest in spending time on Facebook. Maybe they don't get Twitter. Maybe they're ignoring Google+ like everyone else. But they're business people, and they're going to be on LinkedIn and possibly very active on LinkedIn. So you may have some opportunity to meet people there you wouldn't meet elsewhere. So who can benefit from the network? Let's take a look at some categories I've outlined as seeing very high levels of success on LinkedIn. Job seekers. We've already talked a little bit about that. LinkedIn is well known as a great network for job seekers. Sales professionals, typically very successful on LinkedIn as well because they're using it for prospecting, for building authority, for building expertise and credibility to their networks. Marketing professionals, same thing. Business owners, also very tuned into LinkedIn. PR people, and speakers and educators. I'm not sure if anyone on the webinar is an educator, a massage educator specifically. If so, you might really want to start paying close attention to LinkedIn as an authority builder as well.
And
Now,
I can assure you that we have a couple educators on this webinar right now, live and everything.
Fantastic. We'll touch more on that in a few minutes here as well, but I'm really happy to hear that. And you'll notice at the very end, I've put, are you all of the above? Now, why would I do that? Well, as a massage therapist, let's take a look. Are you all of the above? Are you a job seeker? Well, potentially. You might be looking for a job at a spa, or maybe you're a contractor looking for opportunities at different places. Are you a sales professional? Absolutely. If you're running your own practice, even if you're working at a spa, you're still sort of in sales. You're still selling your services and trying to promote your services. Are you a marketing professional? Absolutely. You have to market your practice. You have to market your business. Are you a business owner? A lot of times, yes. If you run your own massage practice, you are absolutely a business owner. And even if you work at a spa or a clinic or a hospital, massage therapy is one of those professions where you still kind of you have a lot of autonomy over your own future, and so you still kind of have that business owner mindset as well. PR, absolutely, same thing as marketing. Speaker, educator, again, if you're an educator, this is very specific to you, but also you can also use platforms like Lunch and Learns around your community. You can give presentations on health and wellness. You can become a speaker for your community and also build expertise in your community as a massage therapist. So a lot of times, in fact, the majority of the time, when I connect with massage therapists and I work with them, they usually end up being pretty much everyone on this list, if not most categories on this list. So keep that in mind and think about how you categorize yourself and which of these apply to you. So why do you never log in? Now, let's face it, I'm sure that 99% of you, made up statistic, on this webinar never log into LinkedIn, or you log in maybe once a month and you wonder why you did it, or you get connection requests in your email and say, what do I do with this? And you delete them. So if I'm wrong, feel free to speak up and throw a comment in there and tell me why I'm wrong. But I'm guessing most of you don't get real jazzed about logging into LinkedIn because it's boring. Let's just face it. It is boring. So let's own that. It's not Facebook. Your friends aren't there playing around. There's no Farmville or Mafia Wars, thank goodness, in my opinion. And there's no videos of cats playing the piano. There's no funny stuff. So LinkedIn is pretty much a boring business network. So if you kind of look at it that way and own it and say, you know what, I know it's boring. I know it's not going to be fun, but what's fun is building my massage practice. What's fun is increasing my revenue. What's fun is connecting with people who can help me advance my professional career. That to me is fun. And so if you think of it that way, LinkedIn can be a lot less boring. So let's get started with profile first of all. We'll talk about some specific techniques here shortly, but I want to start with your profile just to make sure we're all kind of on the same page. So first off, it's really important that you put a lot of love into your profile. Make sure it's really complete, filled out nicely. Post a nice, clear photo. I see a lot of people on LinkedIn that either have no photo or the photo is blurry. They're like kind of far away and they're scowling, and it's just not a very appealing photo because they've just like picked out something on their computer, uploaded it in 2 seconds, and forgot about it. It's pretty important to put a nice, clear, professional photo. You don't really have to, spend a lot of money hiring a photographer, but at least, get someone with a decent camera to take a nice headshot for you where you're smiling, looking approachable, looking professional, and use that for your profile photo. Now, a side note, I also like to use the same profile photo on LinkedIn as I use on Facebook, on Twitter, on Google+, on other networks, on my website. And the reason I do that is because I want to strengthen the visual aspect of my personal brand. Everyone has a personal brand, whether you realize it or not, and that's how people perceive you. And so if you start using the same profile photo everywhere, that consistency carries through, and people start to kind of understand your personal brand, and kind of that consistency helps strengthen everywhere you are on different networks. So think about that. Also, fill out the description, make sure it's relevant and well written. Obviously, link to your website. I'm assuming that we all understand the value of having a good website for your massage practice, and add your skills as well, obviously centered around massage. So now a few interesting points here. According to LinkedIn and their statistics, a profile photo makes your profile 7 times more likely to be found in searches. So when people are searching for you, maybe they're searching for people to connect with, you're 7 times more likely to be found if you have that profile photo. If it's blank, a lot of people are going to just ignore that. And if you fill out your educational experience and your work experience, you're 12 times more likely to be found in searches. So those 2 aspects of your profile alone, I think, are worthy of some attention. So let's talk about strengthening your profile even more than that. Let's talk about some ways to connect to meetings, search for connections, rock out some recommendations, add applications and blogs, and work with groups. So let's start with searching for connections. A lot of people don't ever even get this far. They don't ever even search for connections. They just sort of accept connections coming in, but they don't really know what to do with it beyond that. So one of the very most basic things you could do on LinkedIn is search for connections. So if you know someone, or you've met someone recently at an event, or you're thinking, hey, I'd like to connect with Bob Smith from that particular context last year or something, whatever it might be, you can just type in that person's name, find them on LinkedIn, connect with them, and casually stay in touch with them in a business context. So go to that people search, pop in their name, look for them, connect. So very simple. You can also get a bit more advanced. So let's say you want to search for people in a specific profession, specific geography, specific keywords, even a specific language that's their primary language, company, titles, education, all that stuff you can search on. So if you go to people and choose the advanced people search option, you can then connect with people using those attributes. So let's say you want to, you're doing corporate massage and you want to break into a specific company in your area. Well, you can go to that advanced people search option, search for people at that specific company, and look for the HR director at that company, send a note and say, hey, I'm so-and-so at, so-and-so massage therapy, and we do corporate massage. Do you mind if I send you some information about what we do? So you can target specific companies and other attributes very easily in LinkedIn.
So we've actually got a question, Michael. Can I jump in?
Awesome.
Okay, so Jillian has a question that she typed in. Curious what your feeling is about linking to other massage professionals that you don't know. Should we only link to people that we already know well, or that have a referral from someone we know? So what are the rules when you're searching on different titles and geographic areas? What are the rules for who you should actually beg to connect with?
Awesome question. Very common concern for a lot of people, so I'm glad you asked. Yeah, I think it's a personal preference. That's my short answer. The long answer is I think it just depends on your comfort level and your context. So I know a lot of people that only connect with people that they know personally, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's actually the way LinkedIn intends people to use it, so that's actually right in line. So that's fine. Now, personally, I connect with people I don't know if I see something in their profile that I feel aligned with. Like if they've got a nice clear photo, maybe I've heard of them, or maybe they're in a profession that aligns with mine. They're in marketing or something. They've got some recommendations. Maybe we share some connections. If there's enough stuff that makes them seem like a legitimate person, I'm going to connect with them and accept that, because you never know who you can help or who can help you down the road, or who might be a good connection to network with in some other situation. That's just me. But
Okay.
again, I don't like to say that as a, yeah, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Keep going. And then we have another question,
Well,
but
I
keep
don't,
it going.
sure, yeah. I don't like to say that as a rule, because that implies that there's only one right way to do it, and in my opinion, there's not. So again, think about your personal preference, think about how you want to use LinkedIn, and make that decision based on your preference. So I think that's fine.
Does Jillian, actually, this is a great follow-up from the same person. Doesn't LinkedIn eventually put up a filter if you're trying to connect too often with too many people you don't know, who do not connect to you? So I guess if you get rejected, have you heard of that?
Yes, LinkedIn will lock your account or block you if you do too much spammy activity. And by spammy activity, I mean something along those lines. If you're basically just connecting with a bunch of people that you don't know because you're trying to cold call them, so to speak, and they report you as spam, LinkedIn will sometimes come back and just lock your account or delete your account or deactivate you. So I haven't heard of that happening too often, but it does happen. So if you follow general etiquette that you would use in real world networking, and just don't spam people and just be polite, you're going to be fine.
So we have another question from Michelle. Do you have to have
Awesome.
yeah, I know. I love these questions. You guys are great. Michelle says, do you have to have email addresses for the people you connect with? A lot of times I know people, but I don't have their email addresses.
You do not. You have to have some sort of connection. So you can use email, of course. You can also, if you can choose the option that says, I've worked with so-and-so at this company. Now, be careful. I never abuse that. I know some people have abused that with me, and it's like, don't do that. So if I choose that option, it's because I really have worked with that person. If you don't honor that, it's just it's not really appropriate, I don't think. You can also, if you share groups, like if you join groups and someone else is a member of that group, you can connect as a common member of that group, or that group in common, rather. You can also get introduced through another connection. Or if you went to school together and you put the same university as or the same school as your education, or your past education, you can also use that as a classmate option. So there's a couple ways you can do that, but email is only one way. So there's, a few different options there.
Excellent.
Great question. Thank you.
That is, let me just double check. We just had one pop in. I have looked for someone, but it says they were in another network. What does that mean?
It means they're not connected to you. If they're in another network, it just means that you don't have anyone really in common connecting you, so you'd have to find other ways of connecting with them. So people that are in your network are 1 or 2 degrees of separation from you. It sounds like that person was not.
Okay. I just learned something, Michael.
Also
Thank
a great
you.
question.
And we are
Fantastic.
dry on questions right now, so go to town. Oh, look, I'm on the screen.
Well, great. Now we can look at your photo
Woohoo!
because we're going to talk about recommendations. I'm a big fan of recommendations. I think they're great goodwill. They're great credibility builders. So if you want to recommend someone on LinkedIn, which I do recommend, is you look at their profile. Here's Alyssa's profile, which looks nice and complete and professional, as you can see. You click on that little recommend Alyssa button on the right-hand side, or that link, and it'll take you to a place where you can write the recommendation. Now, when you write a recommendation, I recommend my kind of general outline is like 3 sentences. And each sentence is sort of a paragraph on its own because you have limited space. So first sentence, I will write, hey, Alyssa is blah, blah, blah. She's great, blah, blah. Here's a little bit of stuff about her. Second sentence, I put a little line break, second sentence, to make a new paragraph. I'll say, I worked with Alyssa on these projects, and she just rocked out the universe and did all this great stuff and, increased sales by 1,000%, blah, blah, blah. And then a final sentence, new paragraph, I would say, if you ever get the chance to work with Alyssa, please do. She will, make you happy. She's great. And so I just kind of do a little three-step recommendation there. That's the formula I tend to use to keep it simple. You don't want to ramble. You want to keep it nice and short and to the point. Now, I love giving recommendations because you will often get them back if you do it. Now, when I give recommendations, I get about probably 50% of people recommending me back. Now, a lot of people will say, well, just request recommendations from other people and you'll get more. Well, sometimes you will, but I find that if I recommend people first and don't even ask them for one, they will give me more sincere, appreciative recommendations back, which sound a lot better and are much more well-written. And so I just like that philosophy first. I like the whole giver's gain philosophy. So I give first. I never ask for recommendation. At least I don't think I have. I'm trying to rewind my brain and see if I've ever done that, but I can't think of any situation where I've actually asked for a recommendation. I just give them first. And then, if the goodwill is there and it's appropriate, they will recommend you back. And so the more you do that, the more you'll receive those recommendations. And it's great to have on your profile because people can look at that and they see testimonials from people listed there, and they also can click on that person's name and see exactly who that person is recommending you. So it adds some life to that recommendation. It's not just kind of cold words on a page. It's a real person attached to those words, which is nice. So let's talk about some apps. LinkedIn actually has some apps which a lot of people don't know about. Now on Facebook, I'm sure you're aware of all the crazy apps out there. There's games and silly things and spammy things and stuff that I block them all personally. I hate them. And there's like a million of them. On LinkedIn, there's like 12. And they're really good, well-made apps that are really useful. So the nice thing about apps on LinkedIn is you can kind of trust that they're really good, useful things that are good for business. So that's kind of nice. So there's stuff for presentations, there's stuff for your blog, there's survey stuff, there's file storage, all kinds of really useful apps. Well, all kinds meaning 12. Now, one app I really like is the SlideShare app. SlideShare is a free site where you can post your presentations in PowerPoint or Keynote for Mac format. I'm a Mac user, so I use Keynote. So what you can do is you can post presentations on SlideShare and then import them into your LinkedIn profile with that app. So let's say you're an educator, massage educator. You travel the country teaching a massage all over, and you have presentations that you use and slide decks as part of your classes. Well, you can make sure those look really sharp, polish them up, put them on SlideShare, and then tie them into your LinkedIn profile. And you've got them in two places, which is nice. And then when you're applying for speaking opportunities or applying to teach a class at an event or at a AMTA chapter or something, you can pull out these presentations, send them to the event planner, and say, hey, here's my presentations. You can review it. You're going to help them make a better decision because you're going to give them a lot of information about your class right there online, which makes you much easier to work with, which will ideally give you higher chance of being chosen. So you might think about that. Also, if you're a practicing massage therapist who is connected to your community and you want to do some presentations locally, for example, for chamber events or lunch and learns, things like that on wellness, you can also put your presentations on here and then connect with those event planners as well and say, hey, I've got this presentation on blah, blah, blah. Take a look at my profile. You can see the info there. If it looks like it would appeal to your group or your members, let me know. And you've got that, that information there readily available. Also good for search. SlideShare and LinkedIn both have a lot of weight when it comes to Google searches. So if you put keywords in those titles and descriptions of your content in those slide decks, that'll help your search rankings potentially as well. The alternative is Google Presentations. I don't use Google Presentations, but it's available. So if you put your presentations in Google as an alternative, same concept, works just fine. Reading List is kind of fun. It's not the most useful app, but it's just kind of a nice thing to have. When I speak and give presentations, lots of times I will reference books I like, and I'll say, hey, go read this book for more information on it. And what I can do is I can put my reading list through Amazon into my LinkedIn profile. So I can say, hey, go to my profile, and you can see a link to the books there. Go click and purchase them on Amazon. So you can keep a list of what you recommend and what you read right there. It's also good for promoting events. So again, if you are an educator, maybe doing workshops, or if you do presentations or events or open houses or wellness fairs in your local community, you can promote events on LinkedIn as well. A lot of people don't use this. So you install the app and you set up your event just like you would on Facebook. And then people can actually RSVP online. You can fill in all sorts of information. You can link to registration pages. You can take registrations right there on LinkedIn. And people can RSVP. And when they do, whenever someone RSVPs and says they're attending, their newsfeed gets a notification that person's attending. So they're actually leveraging their network to promote your event as well. Nice feature. If anyone here is a blogger, and I hope you are, if you're not a blogger, talk to Alyssa. She will rock your world on blogging. But if you're a blogger and you blog about topics related to massage, health, wellness, your target audience, and it's hosted on a WordPress, you can import the WordPress app and pull in your blog articles to your LinkedIn profile. WordPress is a great platform for massage therapists. It's inexpensive. It's a great blogging system. And then you can, whenever you post a new blog on your website, it will automatically show up here on your LinkedIn profile. So when someone's viewing that, they see the articles you've written, which again demonstrates expertise and enhances your credibility.
I am mortified to say that I don't think I have the WordPress app installed on my LinkedIn. Mortified. Mortified.
Shocking, Alyssa. I am shocked.
I cannot believe it. So everyone, that's the thing that I have learned. And if I have not done that 24 hours from now, I expect angry, agitated emails from all of you calling me on my crap.
You heard it. Go check it out tomorrow. Surveys are also kind of useful. I use surveys sometimes to gather data for presentations, or just to just kind of gather anecdotal information when I'm trying to make a decision on something, or just to get some feedback. In this example, I speak a lot on social media, and I was gathering some data on a specific thing. And that specific thing was, how does it affect you when someone uses something other than a real photo in a social profile? Because I see people on Facebook, for example, using like their pet or a flower or some other object instead of a photo. And I'm like, that's not professional. So I want to find out what people really think. So I ran a poll, and I gave 3 options: less likely, more likely, don't care. And as a factor of 2 to 1, most people were in favor of saying I'm less likely to interact with them. So what that means is that according to this fairly unscientific but still useful poll, more people than not would be less likely to interact with you if you use a photo of your dog or your flowers or whatever. So I recommend that people use a nice, clear, actual photo of your headshot in your profiles if you want to promote interaction with other people. So, nice little example of a poll. You can use it for anything you want. You can use it for surveying your clients. You can use it for surveying the community, whatever you want. And also it gives you nice demographics. So if you want to look at those demographics, it gives you age ranges, seniority, whether it's a manager or not, and gender as well. And people can post comments underneath, as you can see. Now, on to some more networking stuff. Those are some nice apps you can look at. But if you want to also see who's been looking at your profile, you can snoop on them. If you look at that who's viewed your profile on the right-hand side, it'll lead to this page, and you can see exactly who's been looking at your profile. So this may or may not be useful, but if you want to kind of keep track of maybe an HR director at a company you're trying to get into for corporate massage or something like that, you can see if they're viewing your profile and maybe use that in your sales process, or reach out to people that have at least kind of been aware of you or looking at your profile. You can also see who's been searching, or not who's been searching, but what keywords have led to your profile as well. As you can see, my name, obviously, top referral source. I play the cello, so apparently searching for Mike and cello leads to me. A couple other terms there as well. Ball State, that's where I went to school, stuff like that.
Oh, we've got a question here from Cicely. How
Great.
do I categorize myself to connect with the right people? I'm an RN who does massage and life coaching.
Okay, excellent question. You're a slash. Slash is kind of like me. A slash is someone who does more than one thing, so you're an RN / life coach, it sounds like. So
And massage therapist.
Great. And massage therapist, absolutely. So you're 3 things at least. So that's great. You can put all 3 of those things in your profile. You can actually have more than one current position. So you can say I'm a life coach at whatever your life coach business name is. You can say I'm a massage therapist at whatever your business name is for massage therapy. And what was the third thing, Melissa?
Life coach, massage therapist, RN.
RN, excellent. So you can say you're an RN at whatever hospital you work at or whatever healthcare facility you work at. So you can put those 3 things in your current work experience, and you've got 3 jobs, and that's fine. LinkedIn lets you do that, no problem at all. Also, when you're putting it as your kind of tagline under your name, you can also put all 3 things within reason based on the character limit, which I'm not sure what the character limit is, but you can probably fit those things in if you shorten them a little bit. So that's one way to do it. Just be a slash and put them all in. That's fine. Or the other alternative is that if you want to focus on one more exclusively, or not more exclusively, that's kind of oxymoron, but more heavily, you can just use that little tagline area to promote one of them. So if you want to promote yourself primarily as a massage therapist, just put that in there. And you can still put the other work experience in there, but just focus your profile toward massage therapy or life coach or RN. Totally up to you.
Cool. All right, I've
Big
got
fan of
another
personal
question.
preference. Great question. Yeah.
All right, Becca's asking, when I try to view other people, when I try to view people who have viewed my profile, LinkedIn asks me if I want to change my profile from anonymous to visible. What does this mean, and do I want to do it?
Okay, great question. If you look at this screenshot right now, in the middle you'll see that it says anonymous LinkedIn user. That is someone who is terrified of being seen on LinkedIn. That's someone who's scared.
That's totally me, by the way. That's me.
Yeah. What that means is that person has locked down their profile so much that no one can really see who they are, which I don't recommend, because if you're going to be on LinkedIn, you probably want to be networking, and you probably want people to see your profile. So I don't really like that. So I would say, yeah, I would unlock your profile, and when the option pops up, say, yes, make my profile unanonymous or whatever it is, and show your photo, show your name, show your work, show your whatever you do. I don't really see any good reason to be anonymous unless you just want to lurk, but then you're not really getting a whole lot of value. So the answer is yes, I would become unanonymous.
Excellent. And
Great question.
Meryl,
Thank you.
it is a good question, Becca. Thank you. Meryl just popped in with an awesome question. Do we have to be a paid LinkedIn member to use these features?
No, everything I've shown you so far is free. Now, I'm a paid member, so I see more history on who's viewed my profile. I believe if you're a free member, you can see up to the last 5 people, unless that's changed. But if you are a paid member, you can see a longer history. So there are some other advantages to being a paid member, but that's just one of the little features.
Awesome. And that, you know what? I've got one other question I think I'm going to throw at you now while I've
Sure.
stopped you anyway. Allie sent in a question. What's the best way to advertise shared office space for rent on LinkedIn?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I'm going to table that question for just a few minutes,
You
because
got it.
we'll talk about LinkedIn ads, which might be a good way to do that. So yeah, just hold that question for a moment. I'll come back to it. I'll bring it up as we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's talk about groups a little bit. I'm actually a big fan of groups. They're probably the flagship feature of LinkedIn that a lot of people like, but not many people use them. Or at least less experienced LinkedIn users don't really know their full potential yet, so I really want to emphasize this. Joining groups is a great way to network. So let's jump back to the real world examples. If you go to chamber events, if you go to after hours networking events, if you go to BNI meetings, if you go to other networking events, these are great ways to meet people and to connect with people who could be either clients or referral partners or people that you can help or whatever. So LinkedIn groups is kind of a nice online equivalent of that same thing, because there are groups all over the place that are themed with specific topics and contexts. So one really easy way to get started is just type in massage in the groups search field, and guess what you find? Well, first of all, obviously you find the first 2 entries are the 2 major massage therapy associations, ABMP and AMTA. Tons of people in those groups, very, very active because they're tied to your professional association. You'll also find just general massage therapists and body workers groups. You'll find all sorts of massage-themed groups. And if you want to join those, you can network with other massage therapists, which is great because you can learn a lot of stuff.
And the
So that's one.
AMTA Massachusetts chapter has a group as well. We've got a handful of people.
Absolutely.
We got a little participation, and we want more, so find us.
Fantastic. I'm sure you're all members on this webinar. So you can also go a little further by searching for groups that have a special kind of interest to you. So in this case, if you search, for example, Massachusetts Physical Therapy, I just kind of used an example here, you'll find a group dedicated to physical therapists in Massachusetts. You can also search for like Massachusetts Wellness, get a bit more generic, and here's one that says Worksite Wellness Council Massachusetts. These are groups centered around a profession or a theme or a topic like wellness, and you can sometimes join these groups and network with people that are not necessarily massage therapists, but are people that align with your industry enough that networking with them could be useful. So you can get creative by searching by geographic area, or if you work nationally as an educator, search for national groups that are just specifically topic only, and you can maybe find groups that could appeal to your networking plan and use them to your advantage to meet people and do online networking. So I love groups a lot for that reason.
So, Michael, I actually have a question.
Yeah.
Say I'm looking to teach some classes all over the country, so I join some of these groups. Now, is the best approach for me to just start leaving comments that say things like, hey, this was an interesting discussion on social media. I'm Alyssa, and I teach classes all over the country about social media. Here's a link to my website.
Silly Alyssa. I love the way you softballed that up for me. No, actually, I would not recommend that. That is considered spammy, as you know, because I know you're setting me up. So what I recommend typically is I do see people do that, and that's a sure way to get either expelled from the group or ignored or blocked, and that's not good. So what you want to do instead typically is you want to always provide value. No matter what you do, always provide some value. And at some point, you can earn the right to promote a little bit. But even if you don't promote yourself, by providing value first, people are going to still come to you for services at some point. So, for example, let's say, like Alyssa said, you're an educator, you're trying to get gigs around the country doing classes and workshops. Great. So if you join groups and all you do is say, hey, I'm spamming a group, come to my workshop or hire me, blah, 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 obviously spammy. But on the flip side, let's say you run a great blog where you post a weekly article that gives away information. You do webinars and videos that teach people things. Maybe you have a book you wrote, whether electronic or a physical book, whatever it might be. You've got some kind of content that applies to the group. You can share that content. Now, you got to be careful still, because if it's your own content, it still might be seen by some as a little bit spammy. So you got to make sure it's kind of a soft sell approach, not too pushy. Or you can just answer questions. If you answer questions that people ask in those groups, over time you're going to be seen as an expert who's very helpful, and people can figure it out. They will see your profile, they'll see you're an educator, you'll post a few blogs here and there that are helpful as well. You can kind of be very subtle about it, and people are smart enough to figure it out, and you're going to be embraced much more readily by that group because you're actually participating as a helpful member and not a salesperson.
Yep.
So it's kind of counterintuitive, but yeah, that's kind of my take on it.
And I'd love to toss in an example. I don't want to use all educator examples because I know a lot of people on the call and listening to the recording are not going to be educators. But say you're a massage therapist and you're part of a chamber or a wellness group in your area, and someone posts an article about maybe forward shoulder posturing for people who are sitting at their desk all day. That's an excellent article to comment on. When someone expresses something related to massage, you want to get right in there and be part of that conversation. You want to make a comment like, I love this article. I totally agree with all the shoulder stretching. And one of my favorite sets of clients to work with is people with forward shoulder posturing or people who are at their desk jockeys. I love this article, and thank the person who posted it. Make a friend. It's a little virtual hug, and it gets someone to know you a little better before they click on that schedule now button on your website. It might even get them to your website. And it's a really lovely, soft introduction to somebody before they make that decision to come into your office and take off all their clothes, which is scary. And so that it's not just applicable to educators like we were talking about. This is something you, as a massage therapist who is an expert in soft tissue work and pain and pathology, this is a conversation that you can join. So join it.
Yeah, I love it. Great example. And also, you bring up a good point about content curation. I talked about sharing your own content, like blogs and things like that. Also, you can curate other content, just like Alyssa mentioned. So if you find articles other people wrote, use that. I like a nice balance of about 50-50, curating other people's content versus posting your own. That's kind of a nice balance point. So glad you brought that up. Thank you. Now, if you want to go a step further and get really active and spend a little more, invest a little more time in working LinkedIn groups, you can start creating a group or two. And what that means is you actually own a group that you nurture and you're the moderator of and you control. And the formula for making this work pretty well is first, choose a niche and specialty category. So you want to take your target audiences and figure out which target audience you want to focus on, whether it's business travelers, executives, golfers, whoever it might be, tennis players like me, and just athletes in general. you can pretty much kind of break down, whether it's people having a baby, even if you do specialize heavily in prenatal massage. So you can focus on specific groups, and you can make a group around that group. And so you make a group description that kind of gives a little information about it, focus on the target market and the theme for the group. Make it an open group so that everybody can search and find it, but make sure you do pre-approval so that you control who gets in. Manage and monitor it. Make yourself the leader because you're the owner, so then kind of be the leader when it comes to posting content, posting questions, sharing articles, and then promote that group other ways too. So if you have a Facebook page, link to that group occasionally and say, hey, we've got a great discussion over here for, golfers on our, group or whatever, and then link over to it. Cross-promote it through email, stuff like that. Some examples I just kind of threw out there. A group might be titled Training for Boston Area Marathoners. I don't think I've found one with that title, so if you work really well with runners and you're in the Boston area, you can make a group called Training for Boston Area Marathoners. Now, if you create that group and you never post anything to it, never provide any value, it's not really going to go very far. But if you create that group and you start posting training events and articles on, training for marathons and things like that, and over time build a group of marathoners who are in that group, liking the information and networking with each other, you're going to build a whole group of people that are your target audience. And when you talk to them, you've earned the right to tell them a little bit about yourself, and you're basically building a whole database of prospects right there on LinkedIn. So it'll be up to you to figure out what those categories and specialties are, but those are just some examples to give you kind of an idea of what it might look like. Now, I am very guilty of not doing this a whole lot, but I do want to include it because I know a lot of people that do it quite a bit and like it, asking and answering questions. So LinkedIn has a great Q&A engine. So if you go there and look for questions and answers, you can go down to topics and things and search by topic and find all sorts of people asking questions about things, and you can go answer those questions. And by answering the questions, then you position yourself as an expert. And if your question is, or your answer is good enough, you'll get chosen as the best answer, and you'll shoot to the top as well. You can also ask a question. So if you just genuinely have a question you want to get an answer to, pop it on LinkedIn. You might find somebody that'll answer it for you. So again, I'm very guilty of not using this a whole lot, but I don't want to exclude it because I know a lot of people that really like that. Now, if you're into search and you want to get found on Google, my disclaimer here is that SEO is not magic. It's not going to automatically revolutionize your business. But
hey, Michael, can you tell me what
yes.
SEO is?
Yes, sorry about that. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, and SEO is the practice of positioning your online content in such a way that you maximize your exposure on Google searches. So if someone searches for, massage in Springfield, Massachusetts, you're likely to be found. That's the SEO concept. So what you can do is you can actually put keywords in your LinkedIn profile, and those keywords will get indexed by Google and will count toward your SEO score. So in my example, since I'm a speaker, I put, speaker, trainer, I put information about my company located in Indianapolis, and due to that plus other activity, it's all kind of holistic. Now when someone searches, at least at this time of the screenshot, Indianapolis marketing speaker, I'm on page 1, very high for that search term. And I've actually gotten speaking engagements in my city by people searching on that exact term, finding my profile, and booking me to speak. So again, think about what terms you want people to use to find you, and you might think about putting those terms in your LinkedIn profile and see if it helps your SEO activity. Now again, SEO is not magic. It's a very complex science, so this is not automatically going to produce outstanding results right off the bat. But if you kind of think about that as a detail in your chain of marketing planning, it can have some benefit. So let's kind of wrap up here near the end. If you want to get started, the 3 general categories of people that I like to recommend connecting to are A, clients, B, colleagues, and C, referral partners. Your clients, obviously, people that you work with already. If you find them on LinkedIn and connect with them, that's a better way to stay in touch as well. Colleagues, if you join those massage-specific groups, you can network with other colleagues, get advice, maybe even cross-refer to colleagues who specialize in different things. I know Alyssa does that. That's a great way to use LinkedIn. Also, referral partners, people that you can connect with that are not massage therapists or clients, but you can refer back and forth to each other. So, one great obvious example that I think everybody thinks of off the bat is chiropractors. Massage therapists sometimes can network very well with chiropractors in a referral relationship. So if you search for Boston chiropractors, guess what you find? Well, you find some Boston area chiropractors. So if you're trying to build a practice by networking with these types of healthcare practitioners, you can use LinkedIn to search for them, find them, connect with them, do a nice soft intro, say, hey, I'm down the road from you, I'm in your area. I'm looking to network with chiropractors to cross-promote. I'd like to send some referrals your way. I'd like to see if that would work for you. Always start with a value proposition first, give to them. You don't want to start saying, hey, I want your referrals. You probably start saying, hey, I'd like to see if it makes sense for me to refer some of my clients to you. And the obvious next step of the conversation will be, well, let's cross-promote, right? So chiropractors might be one, PTs, physicians, nurses, whatever group of people you network well with, find them, search for them. You might be surprised at how many you'll find in your area that will be receptive to that referral relationship.
Michael, I'm going to jump in and fess up because a friend of mine who's in this webinar, Jason, right now, Jason is a massage therapist out on Martha's Vineyard. He just checked out my LinkedIn profile and told me that I actually have the WordPress app on there. And I just didn't know it, which one speaks to the efficacy of the app. It's on there, and I never ever had to do anything again to make it happen. It just automatically posts whenever
nice.
I put a new WordPress post up. And two, once again, speaks to the fact that LinkedIn is my kryptonite, and I really, really, really need our members to hop on there and hop in the group, and everyone else to hop in the group and start nudging. And we really need to be each other's keepers here. For a lot of us, online marketing and social media stuff can be perplexing. And I call Michael when I have LinkedIn questions, and everyone else can call me for Facebook questions. We are here for you, and we are here for each other. And Mass Chapter wants to be a resource to help you with this. So I need people to be my keeper, and I want to help be yours. So let's have each other's backs on this. And but there we go. Jason told me I was wrong, so I had to correct it while we were still being recorded.
Awesome. Glad that works so well. I know someone asked a few minutes ago about office space, and I do want to address that because I think LinkedIn ads might be one appropriate way to do it. LinkedIn ads are a nice way to focus advertising on a specific group or category or geography. LinkedIn ads are kind of like the LinkedIn version of Google AdWords. So if you ever search Google and you see those ads on the top or the right-hand side, that's the paid search listings. That's what when people have paid to have their ads show up for certain keywords on the first page of Google because they're paying a fee for it. LinkedIn and Facebook both have the same thing. They work in a pretty similar fashion. LinkedIn ads let you focus on, again, geography, job titles even, specific companies if you want to. So you can get creative, actually. And you can, again, I go back to the corporate massage example. Let's say you want to get into, a specific company in your area, and you want to run an ad that specifically targets that company. You can actually run an ad with the company name in the ad saying, hey, are you the HR person at blah, blah, blah? Click here to download my, report on, how massage improves productivity in the workplace or something, whatever it might be. You can actually target that specifically, which is kind of scary but fun. So in the office space example, you might use LinkedIn ads to advertise office space in your area. So you can target it down to geography. And I'm assuming it's renting office space. So you might say, hey, office space for rent for a massage therapist. You can actually target that job description as well. So that's a good way to do it. Also, you might think of using groups, maybe posting that in the local groups in your area if you're not too spammy and kind of subtle about it. That's probably appropriate as well. So I hope that addresses that question. But LinkedIn ads are not very heavily used by a lot of people, but they have some good specific applications. Company profiles are sort of new on LinkedIn as well. I actually searched for some good examples of spas or well-known massage businesses using company profiles on LinkedIn. Couldn't really find any, so I just used my own. Hope that's okay. But LinkedIn company profiles are just kind of like the business page version of a LinkedIn profile. So You do not want to use your profile if you're a company. That's for a person, just like on Facebook. But LinkedIn company profiles are for your business. So you put your logo up there. You can put a nice banner up there. We put a banner from our website up there. Put your services there. As you can see, our services are digital marketing and website design. You'll put your specialties and massage there. You can also put a video, which is nice. If you look on the lower right-hand side, you'll see there's a testimonial video from one of our clients. Testimonial videos are really powerful. So if you gather some testimonials from your clients and put them together in a nice video, you can post that on your company profile. So if you own a spa or you own a clinic and you want to create a business profile, you can put that video there, and that's a nice little warm introduction to your company as told by your clients, which is nice. Or you can just do a little personal intro where you're speaking the intro as well, but that's not quite as powerful, I think, as client testimonials. So might think about that. Also, just like the WordPress app on personal profiles, you can import your company blog posts here as well. So you can do that with no app required, actually. You just kind of plug it in. So if you're an individual practitioner or you're kind of a solopreneur with your own practice, you may not need a company profile. But let's say you either work at a spa or own a spa. You can go to the spa manager and say, hey, let's get this profile set up and we can all utilize it and help us market. Or if you own this spa, you can make a decision to set up a profile for your spa or your clinic or your office right here on LinkedIn, import the corporate blog in here, and you're good to go. I want to touch on quickly just a few pro account benefits. Honestly, I've yet to find a massage therapist who really needs the pro account. I think that most of the features that are free are very powerful and can be provide great benefit for massage therapists. A lot of people use the pro account for more working at corporations. Maybe they're salespeople at big companies, stuff like that. I'm not saying don't check it out, but I'm saying don't feel like you have to buy it. You can still use the free account very well. But some things you can do on the pro account, you can send messages to anyone, which means you don't have to be a connection. You can basically just send a direct message without knowing their email address. Now, we're very careful with this. One of my salespeople and me both use the pro account, and we've done this before where we send direct messages to people that aren't connected with us, and we're always very careful and very polite and subtle about it because you don't want to abuse that privilege. So, but that's a nice feature, and we've actually gotten very large amounts of business by using that feature. You've got a few more search options as well. You can also see more people viewing your profile. You can also set up keyword alerts. So if you want to put a keyword alert in there and get maybe a weekly alert when people are typing in that keyword and or put that keyword in their profile, it'll send you an email with that alert. Could be useful, maybe not. And you can also see more search terms people are using to find you. So really the biggest benefit of the pro account to me is being able to send a message to anyone directly without being a connection. That's really the reason you would get it. So just something to think about. Now, we're going to the end here, I promise, but a little takeaway tip here. A lot of people, when they go through this, I speak to them, they're like, oh, wow, this all sounds awesome, but holy crap, where do I start? I'm totally lost. My head's spinning. I'm about to explode. Cool, no problem. Back up, take a breath, just do nothing but this. If you have a fairly new or a fairly weak profile, meaning not a lot of stuff on it, maybe you've got a lot of work to do in kind of building it up, first get it tuned up at the beginning like we talked about, and then do nothing but make one recommendation for someone else every day, or make 3 connection requests with people you know or people you found and want to network with. For the next 30 days, do nothing but that. At the end of the month, you're going to have a much stronger profile. You're going to have more connections and some recommendations. I can almost guarantee it. So just make that your single-minded focus for 30 days, and you can start there, and that'll teach you a lot about using LinkedIn right off the bat. Now, if you have a decent profile already, you've got a few connections, you got a few recommendations, cool. Then make it a weekly process, just every week for a while, maybe the next 3 months or whatever. Do the same thing, make 3 connection requests or 1 recommendation, and just leave it. Make that your weekly task. It'll take you 5 minutes, and that will also help boost your profile as well and keep it getting stronger. Now, a couple don'ts I want to throw at you here, just to make sure that you're all very polite, very savvy LinkedIn users. If you're thinking of connecting your account to Twitter, please do not do it. I know a lot of people say, oh, wow, I can connect my LinkedIn account and my Facebook account all to Twitter, and so I post on Twitter and it throws into LinkedIn and all this stuff. Please do not do that. It looks terrible. So these examples here. Those of you who are not on Twitter, you're proving my point because you're looking at this saying, wow, what's the @ symbol? What's that weird character stuff? What's the hashtag thing or the little pound sign? Those are all Twitter-specific things. Those are all syntax. That's all syntax related specifically to Twitter. That makes sense on Twitter, but does not make sense on LinkedIn. So if you're connecting your Twitter account to your LinkedIn profile, you're doing two things that are bad. One is you're throwing a bunch of garbage in people's news feeds that doesn't make sense on LinkedIn. And two, you're basically broadcasting the fact that you don't log into LinkedIn, you just shove stuff out there and you don't really talk to anyone. Now, that may or may not be true. I know Daniel, for example, personally. I know he's a good networker, but his message he's throwing out there is, I'm too lazy to log into LinkedIn. I'm just going to shove my Twitter feed in it and hope you read it. And that's really not a great message to send. So please do not link your Twitter account to LinkedIn or to Facebook for that matter. I'm begging you. So thanks for listening to that. And then finally, big stickler on this one too. 9 times out of 10 or more, made up statistic again, but probably true. People send me a LinkedIn connection request, and they just leave that default message that says, I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn. Name. Okay, how boring is that? If you get all these connection requests and all they say is that, what does it say to me? It says, well, they're too lazy to actually type in a personal message, so I'm going to be too lazy to click accept until I get around to it. However, when they send me a personal message that says, hey, you know, it was nice meeting you, blah, 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 let's stay in touch, or I want to connect with you because of X, Y, and Z, this specific reason, what do you think? Wow, that person took the time to actually take 2 minutes and write me a personal message. I'm going to accept that right away. So please, whenever you send a connection request, for the love of all that is good and unicorns, and just please do not leave that default message in there. Just write a personal message, make it personal, make it nice, make it polite, and you will instantly have a lot more credibility with people right off the bat, and you will stand out more than anyone else because no one else does this. So that's one little tip as well I'd like to throw at you. Also, you might want to think about sending a personal thank you. Not a big deal, but if someone connects and you accept their connection, or maybe you connect with them, send a little thank you saying, hey, thanks for the connection request. If you want to get a little borderline spammy but still polite, you know, say, hey, if you want to look at my blog, I give away stuff on these topics. I think that's borderline okay. You might just say thank you, whatever feels right. Just go with it. So with that, I think we are actually right on. We're 2 minutes over. I apologize. But if we have time and want to stick around, I'm happy to answer more questions. My contact information is there. That's my office number. You can call me up. I'll talk to you. No problem. Just give me a call. I'll either try to answer your question, or I will give you a resource that will answer your question, and I will do my best to help you. Send me an email as well. Find me on LinkedIn, of course, and you can find me on Twitter. Like I said, send me a note. I'm super accessible. I like to help people. So if you have any other questions or want to connect later, send me a note. But with that, if there are more questions, I'd love to hear them.
We have one more question that was just about, tell me more about recommending somebody. How do I do that? So
Okay.
I'm going to let you expand on that. And, you know, we've hit our hour, so we understand if people start logging off, we get it. And I also let Cicely know that I will do that step by step. I'm going to create a video tonight, and I'll post it on our Facebook page and our LinkedIn group. And I will actually create a step by step on that. But Michael, I want you to speak that to that as well. And let me just look at the other questions.
Okay, sure. Specifically on recommendations, I don't know if the question is more about like logistically how to do it or more etiquette, but I'll try to quickly address both. Logistically, when you're viewing someone's profile, on the right-hand side, you'll see a link that says recommend this person. Just click that, it'll walk you right through it. And then it will ask you, you know, how do you know this person? What's the context? Just, you know, answer the questions as best you can. As far as etiquette, I recommend anyone that I've actually worked with. I keep it to that. I don't recommend people that are just, you know, random people I've never met. That's fake. I recommend only people I have actually worked with or know very well or have something I can say related to their work. So if it's a friend, I may not recommend just a friend if I've never worked with them because I can't say something specific to their professional career. But again, if I work with someone, that's when I can recommend someone. Hope that helps.
And I will actually I will record on my LinkedIn how to get to that spot and start a recommendation. So I'll record that because I think that's something that could be really useful to our members. So you'll all have a video tutorial after I have a sandwich tonight. My mouth might be full when I record it. So the next question is, could you address security issues? LinkedIn has been hacked twice in the last 15 months. Any thoughts about that, Michael?
Yes, glad you brought that up because I meant to actually mention this back at the beginning. If you've not done so yet, go change your password like right now. Well, after you log off, that is. Because LinkedIn did get hacked recently. A lot of passwords got compromised. So go change your password tonight to make sure that you don't get victimized by someone grabbing your password. And if you use that password anywhere else, go change it on those sites as well, because once they get that password, they can pretty easily find you in other sites and log into those accounts as well and cause mayhem. So be sure and do that. Now, as far as passwords in general and security, we could probably have a whole presentation on just password security, but in general, if you use a strong password and you change it often, you should be fine. So a strong password consists of capital letters, lowercase letters, and a number. If you have those three combinations in your password, you should be fine. If you want to throw in special characters like asterisks or dashes or colons, that makes it even stronger, and that's great. You want to make it at least 8 characters if possible. So again, uppercase, lowercase, and numbers. Include those 3 things in your passwords, and you'll be pretty safe. And then change it pretty often, maybe every 3 months is not bad. I know some people have changed their password every 2 weeks because they're really paranoid and they're probably really secure and never get hacked either. So every 3 months might be a nice realistic guideline. I'm guilty of slacking on that too, so don't beat yourself up. But just keep strong passwords, change them often. Don't use your cat's name or a dictionary word ever, and then you'll probably be okay. Hope that helps.
Excellent.
Good question. Thank you.
And we have a question. If I already connected my Twitter, how do I undo it?
I love it. Thank you. I believe you go into your, actually when you look at your profile, there should be an option there where it's got your Twitter account listed there. I believe if you click on that, it'll take you to the Twitter settings and you can uncheck it there, or you can just go to edit your profile. And I believe it's about halfway down in your profile. You can click on Twitter settings there. I think that's close. If that doesn't help, I'm sure Alyssa will make a video about it.
Absolutely. And then we had a question that I didn't understand, so I asked for rephrasing. I'm not sure if they'll get it in time, but that's okay, because that leads me to my next point. Anyone can email me. I'm very easy to find. Alyssa Haynes, it's ALLISSA HAINES. Google it. Google massage Plainville, Mass. Google Blue Streak massage, anything. We're really easy people to find. So any questions that you have coming off of this, your questions are really good ideas about how we can help you next and what the next set of tools are that we can give you. So you should have found me on LinkedIn already and connect with the Mass Chapter group. We're really easy to find and we want to answer your questions. Allie says thank you to us. You are so welcome. And let's see. Okay, Sherry rephrased her question. She had trouble logging in because LinkedIn did not recognize her email service. It's insightbb.com is a webmail service, but LinkedIn doesn't recognize it. Do I need to have a special LinkedIn webmail address? Let me just go to the second part. Or is that part of the pro service? Michael, have you ever heard of?
Strange.
Yeah, that is a little odd.
If you have if you put in your full email address formatted correctly, there should be no reason you can't create a LinkedIn account. That's very strange. I think there's probably something odd going on that we're not understanding. So maybe if that person wants to email one of us later, we can point in the right direction.
Okay. And Ellie's asking a question. If you get people asking to connect with you, but you don't know them, is it a good idea to accept anyway? Michael?
Yeah, we kind of that's kind of an add-on to that the similar question as well, which is again, how do you decide who you accept? Again, I think it's personal preference. Me personally, I accept people even if I don't know them, if they look like they are legitimate, we have something in common, there's some value to connecting, and that's just a judgment call I make. Other people only connect with people they know, and that's their personal rule for LinkedIn, and that's fine. There's no problem with that. So I would say it's really up to you and how you want to use LinkedIn and what your comfort zone is with it. So great question, but again, no right or wrong answer. Those are just a couple examples.
Fabulous. And Julie says thank you. She's going to start putting this into practice, and I love hearing that.
Awesome.
After,
Thanks, Julie.
yeah, and I got to say personally, after Michael covered LinkedIn on a previous webinar that I watched, I actually got on LinkedIn and finished my profile, and apparently I added that WordPress app, and I have been using it more, and I've been really liking it. So if we nudge each other to use it more, and if we all get a little more active in the group, one, it's a great way to connect, and I think it's going to help us all, and that only moves the profession forward, and that's really important for all of us. And so hop on it, people. We are out of questions. Oh wait, no, somebody's got a hand raised, I think. Let me
Okay.
get to Sherry. And let's see. Oh, I'm going to do this again. This is very exciting. We're going to unmute Sherry. Sherry, do you still have a question? Sherry, are you still there?
Sherry.
Okay, so let me just make sure we're connected to her. I'm going to just, yeah. Okay, so I think I probably didn't see it soon enough, and we no longer have a question from Sherry, which I'm sorry,
Okay.
Sherry. Oh, and no, actually, she says no, she doesn't have any question. I must have. We must have answered it already. We're that good, Michael.
Awesome.
And I'm going to take this last question from Meryl, which is, what do we click on to change password? Is that on the profile settings?
Yes. You'll go to your settings, and it should be right there after you click on settings under your profile.
Okay, so read that screen carefully. We probably have that. It's probably there on that settings screen. It is definitely there. And again, if you have any questions finding that, just email me and I'll give you a screenshot with a big arrow. This is wonderful. Oh, Sonia's got a question. We're going to take Sonia's question and then we're going to wrap it up for the night because I'm so excited that we can actually take questions. So let me open this up. And Sonia, do you have a question for us?
Yeah, I do. When I first started LinkedIn and I wanted to add people to it, it sent out an email to everyone that is on my list of my AOL account. And some people, like said, what do you want me on LinkedIn for? And they weren't all business associates. But it sent out a list and I couldn't unconnect them. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Yeah, that is a great point. So are you asking, is that appropriate, or was that kind of a specific question?
It did it automatically almost.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
It didn't
What
give me
happens
a
is,
choice to say click on these people. It just, do you want to add these people to your LinkedIn? Click on, it said to click on each person, and I didn't do anything, and it sent it out to everybody in my list.
gotcha. Yeah, LinkedIn is actually very sneaky. So what happened to you probably is they snuck in that little feature when you first make an account. It says, do you want to look through your address book on Gmail or Hotmail or whatever, and you want to find people in there to connect with. And it really is sneaky. They try to encourage you to use that because they want more members, of course. So you probably just kind of got pushed into inadvertently checking that option and pulling people in, and it kind of just does it for you. So I would not recommend doing that because like you said, there may be people in your address book you don't necessarily want to connect with. So it's actually very difficult to unconnect with people on LinkedIn. So what you have to do is you have to go to your connections area and then look at the full list. And then when you click on one person, you can then have an unconnect option on the right-hand side.
Oh, you do get it. There is an unclick?
Yeah, there is an option. It's very difficult to find, I'll admit, but there is an option for, it's kind of like the unfriending on LinkedIn or on Facebook. It's the LinkedIn equivalent. So that might also make a good video that Alyssa could make. But again, go to your connections area, see your full list of connections, click on the connection, and there you should see an option for unconnect.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks for asking. Appreciate it.
And that's an excellent, that very nearly happened to me as well. So it's really important to remember to, when you're starting up with any kind of new program for you, a new system, you just got to go slow and read carefully. And yes, I've just made myself a note. I will make a little tutorial on how to disconnect from someone on LinkedIn. That may not happen tonight, but we'll get that out to the membership because it's important. So yeah, we got your back there too. And I am just going to take this opportunity, since there are no more questions anyway, and we're a little bit past our time. Thank you, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you. My
Clearly
pleasure.
we needed you, and you gave us a lot to work on, and I'm sure you'll get many harried emails from me saying, wait, I'm not quite sure how to do this. Help me help my members. And I know
I
you'll
can't
help me
wait.
because I've said out loud on a recording that you will. So yay. So thanks again, Michael. Thank you everyone for attending live. We had a great turnout live. I know a lot of people are going to listen to this recording, and you're helping us help you, and Mass Chapter loves that. And thank you very much. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.